Hi there, Chris here with another fresh tip for you all. In this video we are going to continue our look at painting Jain Zar from the Aeldari faction in Warhammer 40,000, and in this video we are going to work on her shoulder armor, the armor that is more ornate on her, would be her left arm. And so as you can see, it's already been, airbrushed and has already like a light bone coloring on it, and we're simply going to add to that by using some titanium white, some phthalo blue green shade, and some yellow iron oxide. And we're also going to use some fluid matte medium. And these are all from Golden. The little paints are the Golden high flow line. The medium is just their water-based acrylic line. We're going to use 4 white, 2 blue, and 2 iron oxide, giving us a fairly saturated mixture. This is a little bit different than what we have been creating our base coat with. It's basically because it's just I wanted a little bit stronger blue. Really, it is the difference in her shoulder armor as opposed to her helmet. I still want her helmet to be more of the central focus, so this shoulder pad will remain quite saturated as far as this light blue is concerned. It's almost really more along the lines of a teal, as we have a yellow quality in here which kind of slowly pushes the blue in towards the green side of things, which just gives it a slight shift over towards that spectrum of the color wheel, as it were. And really with this, because these paints are very thin bodied, they apply very nicely and evenly. We will have to apply more than 1 coat. I do believe I only applied 2 coats here onto the armor. Next, we're going to take some phthalo blue, green shade, of course. This is a transparency, by the way. We're going to add more to our previous mixture and add a drop of flow aid to this. We're going to take a little dollop of it and pull it aside. Add just really kind of a generous amount of water to the mixture just to thin it out ever so slightly, and then basically use this like a shade wash so that it falls within the recesses of the armor, the little kind of swirly doodads that are in the armor, as well as in the nooks and crannies in behind the armor plates, the separation between the wrist and everything like that. And I also base coated the loincloth in the previous mixture as well. And then of course I'm using this simply just to fall within the recesses of the loincloth as well. The main focus is the armor, but I am using some of these colors on the loincloth, as well as working around the model and cleaning up some areas that are just kind of bugging me, as it were. So next we're going to take ultramarine blue, phthalo blue green shade, and we're going to slap these onto the palette. We're going to add 1 drop of the ultramarine blue and 2 drops of the phthalo blue green shade. We're going to add a drop or 2 of Liquitex fluid, and we're going to use a very generous amount of water, and we're going to mix that into the entirety of that little dollop of paint. And again, we're going to do another shade wash, as I want a deeper, more saturated blue within the recesses. It slightly tints the main areas of the armor, but I'm not too concerned with that. I'm not really looking for that. I just want this to fall within the recesses of each of the little details and kind of bring those forward. But otherwise, we're not really too worried if it changes the overall value of the main body of the armor itself. Again, this is just to bring more contrast and really kind of bring those details forward. I don't really worry about laying it in between the armor plates, from on her chest to create separation or anything like that. Again, as I work my way through this, I am kind of making this up as I go. I was following an initial inspiration for this color scheme, but again, I'm just kind of making it up as I go. I'm just, playing with the color and pushing it, more saturation, less saturation, what have you. We're back to the titanium white, the iron oxide, and phthalo blue. We're going to mix this basically like what we've done previously with 4 drops of white, 1 drop of iron oxide, and 1 drop of phthalo blue green shade. We are going to add a drop of matte medium to this. Now, I have been using the matte medium in these instances as opposed to the previous examples, mainly because I've been noticing that as I break this paint down, it gets really, really glossy. And it kind of makes it a little bit hard to see where my highlights are, especially with the bright lights of the camera and everything like that. And with my detail brush here, I'm simply just picking out the high points of the armor. Now on the breast, I'm kind of highlighting the upper central area. On the plate along the bottom portion of it, I simply just follow the bottom edge. And on the shoulder, I highlight through the center as well, following kind of that central kind of lighting scheme. It's almost like if it was a bit of a zenithal type of lighting, as imagine the light source is directly above. And again, because I'm making this up and I'm just kind of, going with my gut, as it were, there will invariably be changes to this. As initially I wanted this to have more of a ghostly appearance, and as we continue forward, I'm actually kind of thinking of pushing it more saturation in some areas and probably contrast as well. So don't be surprised as we move along that some areas might be a little bit different than what you previously had seen. I will try and document these things, but sometimes I just get into the painting and changes get made. So follow along at your own discretion. With these highlights here, you can see, again, I'm trying to concentrate mainly in towards the central areas. So the highlights on these little swirly doodads, they get darker out towards the outer edges. And as you can see here, again, the highlights on the vambrace of our armor and, the shoulder pads and all the edges and everything like that. It's a bit of an edging. I put 2 drops of titanium white on the palette, and I'm going to grab 2 dollops from the previous mixture and mix that into the white, giving me a very light highlight color. And with that, I concentrate again on the breast area, mostly in towards the central high points. And again, on the shoulder, I will concentrate mostly on the central high points as well. On the facets, like those kind of big bladed portions of the armor, I will do like an edge highlight along those parts. The vambrace, it'll be the high points, the corners on the vambrace, as well as that little face detail that is on her forearm as well. Those will all get like a central highlight. Again, it's more of a zenithal type of highlighting, where the highlights are at the highest point of the model, again kind of representing like a light sourcing directly above the model kind of thing. Again, we could have just simply edged these details or just brought them really forward, or again, it's all just personal taste and aesthetic. It's not right or wrong. So if you're really more concerned about those kind of aspects when you are painting, you can kind of let those go. You don't have to worry about them. Just go with whatever looks cool to you, and don't really worry about that. And just sometimes when these kind of projects like this, where we're kind of just painting off the cuff, and we're just kind of running with our instincts here, we're having some fun. Titanium white all on its own, so I'm going to slap a little bit onto the palette. I am going to use some fluid matte medium here, again, just because I find that with this medium added in, it changes the viscosity of the paint as well. It gives it a little bit more body. It does thin it down a bit, so I will have to apply multiple layers to get it coverage, but that is an excellent opportunity to glaze some of these little high points. And here you can see this with this highlight, it is very, very minimal. It's in really through the center there. On the shoulder pad here, again, it's just a very, very minimal highlight. And I will go over these areas twice with this color, as I will want to bring up a very, very bright central kind of core to these details here and really kind of bring them forward. Again, as I'm looking at it, I do want to push the contrast a little bit further, but we'll see as time tells and goes forward, just kind of how we're going to go about it and what we're going to do. And again, when you're kind of going by instinct, it's kind of a fun exercise to just kind of try and stick within a color scheme and just play within that realm and see where you go. And sometimes you do want to push just the contrast just a little bit further. But that's the shoulder armor. Stay tuned for the next part. Big thank you to all my patrons. Without their support, these videos would not be possible. If you're considering Patreon support, click the link in the description below and you'll be taken off to the Patreon site. And there are varying tiers of support, and a huge thank you to everybody for their support. Take care of those brushes and they will take care of you.